What up, guys? Your boy Quake, and I'm back with a brand new episode on an artist who forever changed the music industry. But before I get into that, I want to clarify a few things. The last video I did, which focused on Lil Pump, received an insane amount of hate, an insane amount of misunderstanding, and people, when they just saw the video title, they didn't want to watch it at all. And based off that feedback, I wanted to clarify a few things. I know if you don't like the artist, you don't have to watch. You're not obligated to watch every single video I release. There will be some videos based on some artists that you probably won't like at all, and that's perfectly fine. Like I said, you don't have to watch every artist I cover. And on that video, it was a different case. Some people didn't even give the video a chance. They just saw that it covered Lil Pump. They didn't like Lil Pump. They don't like his music, so they instantly disliked. And that's the stuff I disagree with. I say if you don't like the artist, just don't watch it. There's no reason to get on the video, comment something negative, dislike it, and then leave. At least watch the video to see my point of view, my perspective on how this artist influenced the industry. And the key word there is influenced. That's essentially what this video series is. It's just a video series of artists that have influenced other artists and have influenced the rest of the music industry. Just because an artist has influenced a music industry doesn't instantly make them great. Some of these artists that I'm going to be covering aren't going to be that talented musically. They might not be very lyrical, and just because they're not lyrical, they can't deliver something that an artist that you like delivers very well, doesn't mean that they can't be influential in the music industry. And I feel like that's where a lot of people are confused. Influential doesn't necessarily mean they're the greatest artist ever. Anyone can be influential in anyone's life at any moment. A lot of these artists that come out don't last well over 2 years and eventually are gone, but they can still be influential in that moment. And a lot of people also get this confused as well. They think that the artists that I cover are the first ones to do something all the time. They're not. Some of these artists that I cover are the second ones or third ones to do it, but they introduce it to a newer generation and add their own style to it. Granted, some of these artists that I've covered and will cover in the future are the first ones to do something, but that's not the whole video series theme. It's not about artists who do something first. It's about artists that are influential. And like I said, influential artists don't have to be great. They can come and go, and they can influence a bigger artist to do something creative and different. And with that being said, this artist that I'm going to cover is exactly that. He's an influential artist. He might not be most talented, most lyrical, but he definitely influenced this whole new generation on how they sound. And as you could tell by the video title, I'm going to be focusing on how Chief Keef forever changed the music industry.
First of all, let's be clear, Chief Keef is only 16, so don't be in. Oh, you're not? Why does everybody say you're only 16 years old?
They say what they want to say.
How old are you?
300.
Chief Keef, when he first blew up in 2012 in the mainstream light, a lot of people made fun of him because they couldn't understand him. His melodic flows were something that were never heard of before. So when he came out, a lot of people dismissed him as an artist that's just going to be a flash in the pan and disappear. Now, as time has gone on, you see that Chief Keef has had an insane amount of influence to the newer generation artists, from Travis Scott to Playboi Carti to 21 Savage to Lil Pump to Lil Yachty and various other artists. The first way that Chief Keef forever changed the music industry was simply with his sound. He was essentially one of the first mumble rappers ever in hip-hop. One of the other artists that you can compare to is Future. He obviously had a huge influence as well in how a lot of these newer artists sound. And when Chief Keef first came out, his sound was more gritty and raw because he came from that environment. He had very melodic flows. He mumbled a lot. A lot of people, like I said earlier, were complaining that they couldn't understand what Chief Keef was saying in his songs. He also introduced that A flow. What the A flow essentially is when an artist would spit a line, and then after that he would say a, yeah, whatever the ad lib would be after that line that was spit. And of course, a lot of artists took that from Chief Keef and used it in their own music. A good example is Kendrick Lamar's DNA. Fetty Wap also used this a lot in his music. He's basically a spitting image of Chief Keef when it comes to those ad-libs. I'm first going to show you guys how Chief Keef influenced other artists with his sound and flow. First, I'm going to show Chief Keef's first track that he released with a certain flow, and then I'm going to show other artists using that flow.
Damn, I hate being sober. I'm a small
much money, I'm a flexer. Need me some money, so I'm a finesse ya. 100 hundo, nigga catch up. I'm off this activist, it got me leaning over. I pour 4 purple and some peach soda. Your boyfriend off, I'm in the blower. He was on the phone with him, sucking my dick and he ain't even know it. Said bitch, why is you texting, asking if I miss you? Cause if I missed you, bitch, I would've hit you. You only gave me top, I ain't even dick you. Telling people we done got the bitch, that's the issue. You thought that bitch was mine, bitch, it was a rental.
Now let's look at how Chief Keef used the A sound in his music, and then we're going to look at other artists that have used that same sound.
Riding with my chopper, hey. I'ma beat him like his father, hey. First off, I'ma start by saying this, ay. All headshots, if he think he can take my bitch, ay.
This shit way too crazy, ayy. You do not amaze me, ayy. I blew cool from ACA. Free smoke, ayy. Free smoke, ayy. Free smoke, ayy.
After this, it's clear that Chief Keef had an insane amount of influence on the newer generation of artists. When Danny Brown was being interviewed by Pitchfork in January 2013, he explained Chief Keef's sound the perfect way. He got asked who are some of his favorite artists, and in there he mentioned Chief Keef. He said, "My favorite song of his is Laugh to the Bank. That's some Sex Pistols type shit. Remember when everybody said that Odd Future was punk rock? To me, Chief Keef is totally punk rock. Like the melodies he uses on his album, it's like he's not even rapping no more, he's just singing. You could swap those synths and keyboards with the guitars and fucking crazy drums and he'll be a rock star." That was perfectly said by Danny Brown. I couldn't agree more. Chief Keef has definitely had a sort of rock influence in his sound. He's not the first to do it, but it's definitely something to take note of. And since his first project in 2011, till now, it's clear that Chief Keef is constantly changing his sound. Nowadays, he sounds a lot clearer, more pronunciation when he raps, and he's even been a little bit more lyrical than previously. The second thing that Chief Keef has done that's forever changed the music industry was that he put Chicago hip-hop music back on the map. And of course, Chicago hip-hop music has been around. I'm not saying that Chief Keef was the first one to shed light on it. Kanye West, Common, Lupe Fiasco, and various other artists have shed light on the Chicago music scene. Chief Keef, however, has done it for the newer generation of artists. The last generation was Kanye West, more of a conscious sound, Lupe Fiasco, stuff like that. But this sound that Chief Keef brought to the mainstream light is more of a gritty sound. It's from the south side of Chicago, the newer generation sound. And when he blew up, artists like Lil Durk, Lil Reese, Fredo Santana, King L, and various other artists started blowing up because of Chief Keef's success. So many artists were able to eat off of Chief Keef's success because the spotlight was all on south side of Chicago. Regardless of good or bad things, everyone was paying attention to whatever music was coming out of there. The third and final thing that Chief Keef did that forever changed the music industry was simply take matters into his own hands. What I mean when I say that is that he used all the producers that were around him locally. He shot music videos directly in his house, around his street. He didn't care about the production quality. He just shot it straight off his iPhone or whoever had a camera at that time. And this was rarely ever seen during 2012 and 2011. This further proved and further pushed the agenda that you do not need a label to build a buzz. Chief Keef built an insane buzz before he was signed to Interscope in 2012. When you saw his videos for the first time, you saw they were raw, they were from his environment. Like I said, he did not care about high production value. He just recorded the good music, shot a video quick to it, and posted it online, and it clearly worked for him. And I remember early in his career, all he would do is shoot music videos inside his house. And I would always joke around and say, why doesn't he ever leave his house when shooting a music video? He eventually then graduated and decided to go outside his house and shoot a music video. And then he decided to finally go inside his car and shoot a music video, and then expanded from there. So it took a while for him to get out of his house to shoot a music video. But regardless, it was still dope. And because of all this content Chief Keef was giving his fans, He then became one of the biggest and hottest artists on social media. The A&R in 2012 who signed Chief Keef to Interscope said this: "Week over week at Interscope, he was the most active social media artist we had. Bigger than Lady Gaga in terms of mentions and online activity. Bigger than Maroon 5. He was a social juggernaut. There was nobody who had that kind of gravitational pull he had online. He was the first." And Interscope had the analytics of how much traffic Chief Keef was bringing in. So of course he surpassed Lady Gaga and Maroon 5, because I remember being on Twitter in 2012 and I would see Chief Keef all over the place. Everyone would be quoting his music, posting his videos, all kinds of stuff. So with that being said, that's it for this episode of an artist who forever changed the music industry. Like I said, you might not like this artist, you might not think he's the most lyrical or greatest artist out, but he definitely had influence to change the music industry. Leave a comment below on your thoughts about Chief Keef. Do you guys still listen to his music to this day? Do you guys think he's the godfather of this newer generation? Let me know what you guys think. And if you guys want to support this channel further, you can do so at patreon.com/diverse mentality. For $1 a month or more, you can support this channel further, and I truly appreciate it. And with that being said, like, comment, share, and definitely subscribe. I do videos like this daily on hip-hop news, who changed the music industry, and much more. So definitely subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at QuakeGW. Like us on Facebook, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.